I'm not sure how I made it out of that universe. Maybe I never really did. Maybe I'm still there, drifting in the void. Everything else gone. That doesn't seem to be the case, though, because my life still continues well, to be honest, most of the other people who were there just ceased to exist. Though I have a sneaking suspicion that there are a few others, like me, who made it out. At first I was going to hide inside an armoire that was nearly 100 years old, or at least it seemed like it was nearly 100 years old. It was probably actually far older in objective years. And though it might have been a good place to hide out from a scourge of demons that would come from the underworld to scrape humanity from the surface of our poor mud ball, it really didn't seem like a very good place to hide out from the impending doom that would envelop the entire universe. So, with the itching and swelling and grand desperation, I started to search for soft spots. Soft spots in reality. Weak points between universes so that maybe I could escape. At first, I would journey past out from my home, taking left and rights in the streets, walking the squared-off grid that is Phoenix, looking for weak points. The streets were cold and empty, oftentimes blown by dust storms that shouldn't occur during the winter months. There would be no cars, no people, no movement, just the lights and seemingly endless rows of houses on each side, sometimes being interrupted by strip malls or plaza-like shopping centers with Walmarts and other chain stores lit up brightly, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But in all my wanderings through the day and through the night, in the early mornings and in the late evenings, I found nothing. Only a slight buzzing in my head that ended up leading me back to my 10 by 10 bedroom. And so with time creeping past and running out, I ended up returning back home in desperation. The mouse of fear becoming a raging elephant in my gut, seeming to blot out everything but the overwhelming need to survive through this, and knowing that I could tell no one about what was really going on, that this universe was on the brink of shutting down, disappearing, and vanishing into the void. I thought madly of taking my silver dollar across the street to the fast food restaurant, and at precisely midnight knocking on their back door, hoping to be let in. Maybe if I had planned just correctly and chosen the right night to be taken with the retailers to the next universe. But naked, sweating, and sitting on the floor of my tiny room with a silver coin in hand, I threw this option away. It would never work. They would never take me. I would choose the wrong night and be reduced down to ground beef, ground human meat, and be served up the next day because it would inevitably fail. Pierced through and through with fear, I remembered strange things from my childhood, of my father climbing into the attic of our house and bringing down a dusty black plastic bag, and laughing, his eyes gleaming from within with a dull blue light. He had said something about the air raid sirens that had gone off, and how whoever was in our home while we were on vacation must have climbed up into the attic and gotten lost up in there and starved to death. That they hadn't been able to find their way out. He had then laughed maniacally and gone out the front door of our home, out into the street with the plastic bag over his shoulder. My mother's words trailing behind him as he left, telling him not to talk about such things in front of me. Strangely, the memory of it calmed me and brought forth another memory of being lost in a bright white waste underneath, or at least seemingly underneath, my grandmother's house in Casa Grande. I, as a child, had been able to find a soft spot, crawl through, and enter an infinite space, a kind of subspace, maybe a crawl space between universes. As a child, I had been told that it was a dream, that it had never really happened, but as an adult, desperate to get out of the collapsing universe, I knew that it was real. I stood nude in my bedroom that early morning, remembering having a fugue moment of reality mixing with old dreams to become fuel to escape. I turned and walked behind my bedroom door, which was shut, and looked directly at the white wall in front of me. I tingled from head to foot suddenly, the chill of the void touching me, exploring me, as I decided very willfully to look into it, not with my physical mind, nor with my heart or soul, and least of all with my eyes. I looked with a pinwheel point in the center of my forehead to the void, and then through the void to the eternal and infinite halls of John F. Long. In a terrible, gleaming, whirling moment of concentration, I reached forward and pressed my hands against the solid wall and felt the hatch, the soft spot that had always been there in this home, among others, and in so many other homes around Phoenix. I opened it and was pulled through into the infinite halls, thus making my escape from the doomed, collapsing universe that would soon become void.